Hi everybody, welcome to the tutorial. Today we're going to be making this balloon gun. I have gotten a good response when I make this, and the big addition to this is not necessarily the gun, but it's adding the piece inside here, just the boom. People seem to really like that, and once I make one of these I end up making like a lot of them. So anyway, let me go ahead and share this with you. As you can see, it's not very hard to do, and I actually drew on both sides of this. But I think I prefer this side better because I underlined this several times and I didn't think it was necessary after I looked at it again. So anyway, there it is. You can see I just wrote boom. And I thought that was better than bang or pow. Boom seemed to be, bigger. So another thing to keep in mind also before we actually start to do this is if you do decide to put this like with an alien, it could say zap instead. So that's just another idea. Anyway, let's get to the markers we're going to use are, you can see, just black and red, and I used a yellow round balloon for that, and we're going to be using a gray 350 and a black 260. I got them over here to the side, all apart, so we're going to put them together and make this. So the way I do my tutorials is I bring the sound down while I twist and I do voiceover, and try to make that easy for you to follow along. Hopefully I don't go too fast or too slow. Anyway, let's go ahead and bring that sound down and let's start twisting. Here we go. The first thing we're going to do in this is, well, first I guess I should show you what kind of towel. I'm going to marriage twist the gray and the yellow, but you see what kind of towel I have on there. All right, about a hand's width there. And so yes, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a marriage twist of these. And a lot of times people will tie these together, and you definitely can. But I prefer just to push it there. And so what I did is I grabbed onto it and I'm getting ready to twist it, but not just yet. See, I went lower down on the balloon, twisted it, and I'm going to hold it against my body. And now what I'm doing while I twist it is I'm actually squeezing the 350 against my body, and I'm creating, a lot of pressure up inside that marriage twist. So that helps it to become nice and firm, actually. Because the thing is when you work with that 350, when you start to do the marriage twist and squish the balloon, you could really soften it, and it's going to weaken your marriage twist. So I just keep it firm by just holding that balloon against my body. So anyway, on to the 260 here. You said I did about a 6-finger segment there, followed by a 1-inch pinch twist, and now I'm actually going to wrap that around the 350 and come right back to that pinch twist. Okay. There we are. So hopefully that, me talking about the 350 didn't mess you up on this part right here. So that's all I did. I did a 6-finger segment followed by a pinch twist, then loop around and come back to that pinch twist. So that way it's connected to the 350. So now I'm just doing a three bubble segment, and this time I'm going to do 2 1-inch pinch twists. And that's because we have the handle and we have the bottom of the 350 is going to, or the tail of the 350 is going to end up in that spot right there. Okay. So again, once I get my 2 pinch twists, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to wrap around and come right back down to those 2 pinch twists. There we are. And one thing when you're doing this and making this, play with the position of those pinch twists so they really work to your advantage and help keep everything from rolling against one another. That's the nice part about having them there, is that you can position the 350 and the rest of that black 260 so they don't roll against each other and don't end up springing out of place, because that can be something that happens, a common thing. So now we're going for the back of the gun, and the measurement I like to do there is more or less about the hand's width there for the back, maybe a little bit more before I do my 1-inch, 1.5 inch there. I'm going to pinch twist that, and then I'm going to go down and I'm more or less matching that other part of the gun right there. So I'm going to do one more pinch twist. There we go. Feel pretty good about that. And so I have a little bit of nozzle left over there, and I'm just going to take that, and it's actually going to run between those 2 pinch twists that I made from the 260. And so I'm just really wrapping it around inside there, and it makes it pretty easy to have those 2 pinch twists there. All right, so now I just need to adjust it, make sure it looks good. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut part of the handle there for the black 260. I'm going to trim it down because it is a little long, and that's okay. Just make sure that it's, for the most part, about the right size for a normal pistol grip, or in this case, more of a blaster. So anyway, I'm just working on that, make sure it looks good. You can always adjust that marriage twist a little bit so it looks good to you. Slide it around a little bit so it falls in place. So again, like I said, just cutting this down, shortening it a little bit to my liking, and that's something you can mess with. There we go. And just going to trim that down, and that pretty much brings the twisting to an end. Let's get to the artwork. Thanks for hanging out. Alrighty, so we made it to the end of the twisting. So you can see it's not too bad, but the main thing is definitely work on the proportions. Make sure you're getting them down pretty good, and careful not to overinflate the balloon. Very common thing, especially when we're going with a design like this, where it has to be pretty close and precise, so that way you end up with that little bit on the end right there. So aim for that, play with it a little bit until you get that right. Otherwise, I would suggest maybe there are different brands of balloons out there. Maybe you can find them that's a little bit longer, right, for this this guy up here, or the bigger balloon. So let's go ahead and go over the artwork. When I was drawing with this earlier, I found out that it's pretty squeaky, so I'm going to bring the sound down while I draw on that, just because there's a lot of contact there. So first thing I'm going to start with is the starburst shape. I think that's what they call it. I'm not sure. But anyway, so let's bring the sound down. I'm going to come up close so you can see how I'm actually drawing this shape. Okay. So the red marker, I'm using a chisel tip to do that. I want that nice wide line. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alrighty, and so now when I do the boom part, I'm actually going to start at the opposite end, and that is going to be with the exclamation marks. I'll do that first, and then I'm going to fill in the boom there, because I found, like, for some reason, if I write boom, I never leave enough room for the exclamation marks, and I really want them to be there. So I'm going to start there, and then work, go back to the beginning and work to fill it in. So here we go. Again, I think I'll bring the sound down just to be on the safe side. So you can see it ends up looking really cool. It's like a comic book style, you know? And so that's what I really like about it. And if you want to draw on the other side, draw on the other side. It's good for putting it on the front of things that have a barrel that shoots out. So if you have a tank, I had a tank design that I shared in previous tutorials. You can go back and check that out and probably add this to it. Or if you have a helicopter that you use as a gun on the front, that's another place to use it too. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this. Let me give you one more look at it. Alrighty, and let's bring the other one up here too, huh? We can blast it all over the place. So you can see, like I said, it's a pretty fun design, and 350s and 260s always make a great combination. So anyway, there it is right there. And golly, before I go, I should make this quick, is if you like the video, don't forget to rate it, share it with somebody, and last but not least, subscribe. That way you can get notifications when I have something new. So as always, just talking like crazy now, as always, I leave you with happy twisting.